All right, everyone, welcome. Today, we're going to do something really powerful. We're going to go way beyond the usual stuff, the surveys, the focus groups, and we're going to get our hands dirty with some incredible tools from microeconomics. We're literally going to draw a map of your customer's mind, a map of their deepest desires. Think of this as your masterclass on figuring out what people really, truly value, and of course, how you can use that knowledge to absolutely win in your market.
So let me just ask you this. Adventure or comfort? Price or quality? How in the world do you actually know the secret trade-offs that your customers are willing to make? Because let's be real, every single day, in thousands of little moments, they're making these silent calculuses in their heads. Should I get the phone with the better camera or the one with the longer battery life? Do I book the cheaper flight with a layover or pay more for the direct one? This right here, this is the fundamental challenge for any manager. And if you can't get inside their head and understand that internal calculus, well, you're just guessing. And guessing is not a strategy.
All right, so here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to tackle that big question, what do customers really want? Then we'll get into the nitty-gritty of mapping their preferences using a tool called the Indifference Curve. After that, we'll cover the basic rules of customer choice, and then, this is the really cool part, we'll actually put a number on desire with a metric called MRS. And finally, we'll bring it all home, connecting these curves directly to business strategy you can use tomorrow. Okay, section 1. What do customers really want? We're calling this the fundamental business puzzle. So let's just dive right in. If you ask, what do customers want? The honest answer is almost never just one simple thing. It's always a balancing act, right? A whole series of trade-offs that they're constantly making between competing desires. Just think about someone out there buying a new laptop. What are they really doing in that moment? They're weighing processing power against battery life, or maybe screen size against how heavy it is to carry around. Or think about someone choosing a piece of software. Are they going for the one with a million different features, or the one that's super clean and easy to use? Every one of these choices involves a sacrifice. You just can't have it all. And this is where microeconomics is so incredibly valuable. It gives us a precise, visual way to model this complex decision-making. It lets us get past our gut feeling, that I think they want more power kind of thinking, and move to real, hard insight. And that insight is where you find your competitive advantage. All right, section 2. Let's get to the mapping itself. We're talking about the indifference curve. So the big question is, how do we actually create this map of what someone wants? Well, we use this beautifully simple tool called the indifference curve. Now, the best way to picture it is to think of a topographical map. The ones that show the contour lines of a mountain. Well, instead of showing lines of equal elevation, an indifference curve shows lines of equal satisfaction. It's brilliant. Any point along one single line is a different mix of goods that brings that person the exact same level of happiness.
So let's just nail down the formal definition. An indifference curve connects all the combinations of two goods that give a consumer the exact same level of satisfaction. You'll hear economists use the word utility. Don't let it throw you. It's just their fancy word for happiness or satisfaction. So any bundle of goods that sits on the same curve is, in the customer's mind, a coin toss. They're literally indifferent about which one they get. Now, as a manager, this should make your ears perk up. Why? Because it could mean you have two different product bundles, one of which might be way cheaper for you to produce, that your customer values exactly the same. That is a massive opportunity.
Okay, this is where the theory hits the real world. Let's look at this tourist. Imagine you're managing a resort, and you offer them two packages. Combination A is all about comfort. 3 spa treatments, but only 1 jet ski ride. Combination B flips that around. It's all about adventure. Just 1 spa treatment, but 4 jet ski rides. Now here's the magic moment. If that tourist looks at both options and says, wow, I really can't decide. They both sound equally fantastic to me. Bingo. You've just found 2 points on their indifference curve. And that isn't just a fun fact. It's a huge piece of business intelligence. Okay, moving on to section 3, the rules of customer choice. We really need to understand why these curves have the particular shape that they do. Because here's the thing, these curves aren't just random squiggles on the page. Their shape is dictated by 2 really fundamental and frankly very logical principles of consumer psychology. For any manager, understanding these rules is absolutely crucial to reading this map correctly. These rules are really just grounded in basic human truth. So, rule number 1, curves slope downward. This just reflects scarcity and trade-offs. You can't just get more adventure and more comfort and stay equally happy. Of course not, you'd be happier. So to stay at the same satisfaction level, if you gain something, you have to lose something else. It's that simple. Rule number 2, higher curves are always better. A package with 5 spa treatments and 5 jet ski rides is obviously unequivocally better than one with 2 of each. So the goal of every consumer is to get onto the highest indifference curve they can possibly reach. Your job as a business is to help them get there, profitably. Now we get to the really, really powerful part. Section 4, putting a number on desire. This is where we introduce the marginal rate of substitution, or MRS. A picture of a curve is great, but in business, we need numbers. We have to be able to quantify this willingness to trade. We need a precise measurement of the intensity of a customer's desire, because that number is what informs your pricing, your product design, your marketing, everything. And that really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? As a manager, how can you precisely measure this? Knowing a customer is willing to trade is one thing. Knowing exactly how much they're willing to trade, that's a whole other level. That's what separates a good strategy from a great one. And the answer is hidden in plain sight. It's the slope of the curve. This is the metric you need to master, the marginal rate of substitution, or MRS. It gives us the precise numerical answer to the question, how many spa treatments are you willing to give up to get one more jet ski ride? It is, quite literally, the number that quantifies desire. In technical terms, it's just the slope of the indifference curve at any specific point. So let's put a real number to this. Back to our tourist. Imagine they tell us, you know what, I would gladly give up 3 spa treatments to get just one more jet ski ride. Just like that. Their marginal rate of substitution of comfort for adventure is 3. That single number tells you a whole story. Exactly. An MRS of 3 is like a giant flashing sign. It shouts that this customer values 1 unit of adventure 3 times more than they value 1 unit of comfort, at least at this particular point. They are adventure hungry. This is pure gold for your teams. Your marketing folks should be targeting them with ads showing thrills and excitement, not quiet relaxation. Your product team needs to design packages that lean heavily into that preference. It even tells your operations team that you might need more jet ski instructors than massage therapists for this customer segment. This brings us to our final and most important section, strategic application. We've got the theory, we've got the numbers. So now, how do we actually use this insight to design better products, set smarter prices, and segment our market with incredible precision? Let's put this theory into action. Now pay close attention here, because this is the most sophisticated insight of all, and it is a goldmine for strategy. The MRS isn't constant, it changes. This is what economists call the diminishing marginal rate of substitution. But forget the jargon, just think about it logically. When you have tons of spa treatments and no jet ski rides, you'd give up a lot to get that first thrilling ride. But once you have 4 jet ski rides and only 1 spa treatment left, well, that last bit of comfort suddenly becomes incredibly precious. You are not going to give it up easily. Your willingness to trade changes based on what you already have. And this is where it all comes together. This slide shows how you can translate MRS directly into powerful market segmentation. You can literally divide your customers by their MRS. The adventure-hungry customer with a high MRS of 3 gets the adrenaline rush package. But what about another customer with an MRS of 0.5? They'd only give up half a spa treatment for a whole jet ski ride. They are a comfort seeker. You sell them the ultimate relaxation bundle. This is absolutely crucial. Get it wrong, and you don't just lose a sale. You might damage your brand's relevance to that customer forever. So here it is, your strategic playbook. Step 1, identify that initial MRS to understand what your customer's really craving. Step 2, pricing accordingly. You can capture more value on that first unit of the thing they really, really want. Step 3, bundle smartly, recognizing that as they get more of one thing, their desire for the other thing actually increases. And finally, step 4, segment relentlessly. Don't build one-size-fits-all products. Build targeted bundles for your high MRS customers and your low MRS customers. So that brings us to the final takeaway. We've spent this time mapping the customer's mind, and you now have a powerful tool to do it. But I want to leave you with one last question to think about. I encourage you to turn this lens inward. What unexamined trade-offs are you making in your own strategy? Are you sacrificing long-term customer loyalty for short-term profit? Or maybe innovation for operational efficiency? The same rigorous thinking we've just applied to the customer can and absolutely should be applied to our own businesses.